Welcome back to Dean Frank Sports. Today we got lots of exciting hoops to talk about with the draft just finishing last night. Thanks for hopping on. We got my guy Zaylin from the last pod, and now Jonathan Martin, fellow ESPN LA digital creator. Super excited to have you all on, and let's talk some ball.
Let's do it, baby. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it, man. Straight up. Let's get into it.
Let's go.
To start it off, the biggest thing that I looked at, just from the top 10 of the guys taken off the board on Wednesday was that the first 8 players were all one and done freshmen. What does that say, for the rest of the league? Because there were a bunch of like super big name guys that actually went undrafted that are big name guys such as like Hunter Dickinson, Caleb Love, Mark Sears, Grant Nelson, LJ Cryer. Like I know they got their 2-way contracts later in the draft, but what does that say for like the one and done type of culture that's starting in the NBA?
So, yeah, honestly, Jonathan, you can go. You go.
No, Zaylin, I'm sorry. I'm new here. This is all you, baby. You got it.
No, all right. Honestly, I don't really know. I like that question. It's a really good question. I think it's something that the NBA needs to pay attention to because it is really interesting seeing all these guys. Because back in the day, I mean, like even like 5-6 years ago, it was you want to get the older guy. Like the older guy was probably going to be better for you. Teams were going to look at the more experience. But right now, it's that 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid that some may have not even made the bracket. You saw 2 Rutgers guys. They didn't even play on a crazy high level. I mean, they play in the Big Ten, which is a great conference, great basketball conference. But, the Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper, they didn't even play in the bracket. So it's just like teams don't really care about that anymore. I think teams are really looking at the talent. And, I was listening to Jay Billis and Ryan Russillo, one of a great listen if you guys haven't. They were talking about how teams – they want to bring back high school. I mean, they want to bring back grabbing kids right out of high school. But for these kids, it's also a good chance to make money, obviously, like in college. Mm-hmm. So it's a good opportunity. I think you're gonna see kids staying around a little more at college because you can just make money and get drafted.
So my thoughts on this. This is a great topic, Dean. What are we seeing in today's league? We're seeing these young guys. Just the league is young. Right, we've never seen a league this young. Oklahoma City Thunder, our newest champs. The average age for that team was 25.6 years old. These guys are young, bro. And the age of the Caleb Loves, guys staying in college for 4 or 5 years. COVID year, he's been in college since He's been in college since I was in high school, so it's been a fat minute. But the point is, the league is young, and there's not a lot of value in the aged college athlete. You're seeing some of those guys slip through the cracks. I think the last guy that I really think about who was in college for a minute and kind of made an impact in the league was like Kyle Kuzma. He did like 3 or 4 years. You're seeing young guys come in. Why not get him at 18? Why not get him at 19, develop him, and then see what he can turn into? Look at Jalen Green. Look at Cade Cunningham. The one and done. This is what the NBA is now. It's quick. So it's cool to see, I think, and it's a new generation of basketball.
Yeah. Definitely. I think we definitely have to attribute it to just NIL and everything going on in college basketball because you look at a guy like Ace Bailey. I mean, I know he went top 5. He could have, I guess, earlier in the like mock drafts, he could have gone up all the way up to 3. So I think, and he was someone who like he didn't even want to participate in other teams, combines and practices and stuff like that, just because he. It's like whenever has like an 18-year-old freshman ever come up and say, "Oh, I don't want to play for that NBA team." Like it sounds crazy, but the day and age, it's where it's like he already has enough money or like knows he's going to make money through different brand partnerships and stuff like that. It's like I feel like it's more outside of just basketball nowadays, which is cool. It's interesting, but I definitely think Ace Bailey might have got some heat because of it. Let's quickly go into it as well. Just winners of the draft. I'll just start, and then we could just go me, Zaylin, Jonathan as well. We'll do winner and loser. So my winner, just talked about him a little bit, but I'm going to go with the Utah Jazz, taking Ace Bailey at 5 and then Walter Clayton with their second pick. I think Clayton is someone who's super interesting to me. I mean, we talk about an older guy. I believe he's 22, and he's been in college basketball for a couple of years now. But we saw what he was able to do on the biggest stage. And for that to be their second overall pick, as well as taking a guy like Ace Bailey, who, in all honesty, like if Cooper Flagg and, Dylan Harper weren't in this pick, in this draft, I think there were multiple guys who could have gone first, specifically also like going first last year. I think Ace Bailey is one of those guys that actually could have gone first in last year's draft. So I think the Utah Jazz got to steal. Obviously, they got to rebuild, and there's some exciting new talent in Utah, though.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I think honestly, I want to start off with a surprising pick. I think the Trailblazers getting Jan Hansen was awesome. I think that was the story of the draft. I don't know if that's a winner. I think, like I said, Ryan Russillo loves him. Ryan Russillo had him as a top 20 NBA player or NBA prospect, excuse me. And I mean, not many people had him going in the first round besides Ryan Russillo. So, but all I'm going to say is that dude is a beast. He was sitting in the stands in Barclays Center. He didn't even know if he was going to get drafted. That's a great story. Feel good story of the week. That boy was dripped out too, sitting in the stands. And then how about this? This rumor is he killed the combine. So, and the dude can't even speak English. The dude killed the combine. The dude was calling for the ball, and he can't even speak English. He was just making noises. Give me the ball. Give me the rock and let me work. I got big ass hands. Let me work. And he killed his interview. He can't speak English. So Jan Hansen, that's my guy. Yang gang for life.
Yang A. I like that. Yang gang. Honestly, this might be a little sleeper. I think the Sixers made out kind of well. You got VJ Edgecombe, a guy who is just electric as a freshman for Baylor. He can jump out the gym. And let me just be quick little tangent. First time I saw him play was against, I want to say, Gonzaga, and he dunked on Mark Fuse, the coach's son. He dunked, even though they lost that game. He exploded at the rim. So that type of athleticism, that type of scoring prowess, he can play defense. I've heard people compare him to Anthony Edwards, just he doesn't have that outside shot yet. But he already has the things that you can't get, which is bunnies. He can jump out the gym. He has insane athleticism. You can develop a shot in today's NBA. I think that everything with the Sixers going on, yeah, they have a lot of guards, but you take the best athlete and just, make it work. And then another sleeper for the Sixers at the number 35 pick, they picked up John I. Broome, who was, a huge standout in college, All-American player. He's big. I don't know what the future holds for Joel Embiid. I love Joel Embiid, but he's always injured. So the process might be cooked. You need to start thinking about the future. You know what I mean? Wow. So I think that the Sixers really made out well, and I like what they did over there.
No, definitely. I think, and I was looking at the Lakers pick right there when we traded up for that number 36. Obviously we need a big man, and there were two big men, like best on the board, were taken right before our pick. It was Cockburner and Broome. So that was someone it would have been super interesting. And we kind of go back there because Broome, like on the totally opposite end, like he's probably older than a bunch of those Thunder guys that just won it this year. So it's interesting, like the development stage. I'm not sure if that's someone who the Lakers were looking for, but who knows if he was still on the draft. Sweet.
I think he'll have a short room to grow. If they don't see something from him within like 2 to 3 years max, he's out.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, he was first team All SEC. Like he just got to learn how to play a little less volatile. I think he kind of let the game get in his head a little more. But I loved watching him play at Auburn. Bruce Pearl's my guy. He was a great player to watch. I would love to see him. I would love to see him succeed, and maybe him and Embiid could pair up.
No, most definitely. Yeah, we don't know if Embiid is even what his status looks like for the rest of the year. But the full start, a healthy starting five, the Sixers could be kind of nice. McCain, Edgecombe, Maxey, Paul George, and Embiid. Like you never know. I don't know if I'm still trusting the process anymore, but the
process needs to speed up.
No, I agree. Okay, sweet. Before we talk a little bit about, the guy Cooper Flagg, who obviously is, takes away all the power of the draft, and he's the guy to look at for years to come. I think it'd be fun to kind of look at what team lost the draft as well. I'll give you guys a second to think. I think off the top of my head, I'm going to take the hometown team that, had the draft in Brooklyn. I'm taking the Nets because they had five picks. And was it just in the first round or just in the draft? Or I guess it was
first round. It was first round. 5 first rounders.
Okay, so they literally could have made a whole starting lineup from this first round, which, I mean, obviously it was a stacked draft, but as you go down to, it's not like they had a top, 5 pick, but you'd expect something big from 5 different picks in the first round. And to me, I was looking at all their guys, and it looked like guys that they kind of like their ceiling was a lot, like they picked him a lot higher than they should have been, is how I'll say it. Like looking at mock draft, these guys went a lot lower, even in the second round. So I was super surprised. I think Brooklyn still got a lot of work to do. And I mean, having 5 picks, you would think maybe they would trade up, take away a pick and trade up for a higher pick. So I'm not sure what's going on in Brooklyn, but maybe the GMs know what they're doing.
Yeah, honestly, Dean, that was one of my big losers. Not only did they have five first rounders, they also picked Danny Wolf, a Michigan Wolverine, who I don't love. I watched a lot of ball of him in March, and hey, Jonathan, you're not gonna like this either. I don't really like him, but hey, I'm not a hater. So I was watching him get drafted. First of all, they were showing him crying before getting drafted, which is just no one ever wants to see that. But hey, I didn't really feel that bad because it's Danny Wolf. But then he gets drafted. And then he's trying to act all nonchalant about it. And then I see him. His mom is very happy. Mrs. Wolf, shout out Mrs. Wolf, the star of the draft. So happy for her son. Trying to hug her son. And he's like pushing her away. Like, get off. I got to go. Like, no, you take your moment. You stay with your mom, Danny. You slid this way. You're about to be in Brooklyn. And then not only that, I'm not going to go on a full tangent on Mrs. Wolf. Not only that, and then the reporter asked her how she's feeling because obviously she's the star of the draft. Sorry, I got a call. And and they asked her how she was feeling, and she's like, we would love to go to New York. We wanted to go to New York. That was our go-to. That was what we wanted to go. And he's trying to correct his mom. We're going to Brooklyn. We're going to Brooklyn. Like Danny Wolf. Brooklyn's in New York, dog. You don't need to correct your mom. So I'm sorry. That's my biggest loser of the draft. Danny Wolf. You're a loser.
Okay, dude. Wow. So now
I had to go off, Dean. I had to.
Zaylen, young Zaylen. With all of that, I didn't hear you say one thing about his actual game because he can ball. He can ball.
He can ball. And but like
you just his character.
He did lead Michigan. He did lead Michigan to the Sweet 16, Elite 8. I don't know. We'll see what the upside is. With this game, sure, but I think you got to be a class act when you get drafted. And Danny Wolf, I mean, maybe just classic Michigan Wolverine, just no class, zero class. Good luck in Brooklyn. But I do agree, Dean. The Brooklyn Nets. I mean, how do you go 5 first-round picks? You don't try to move up. You don't try to move one. I also think of, and then I'm done. Sorry, I'm going on a little tangent here. I also think the Pelicans. I love Derek Queen, but moving up to 13 and giving up your first-round pick for next year is crazy. Like, that's just crazy. Joe Dumars needs to slow down. You're new to the show. You guys are not winning games next year, bro. I don't know. So that's my big takeaway.
So that was actually going to be my pick, the Pelicans. And Zaylen, you already covered it, but I don't know. The Pelicans just kind of remind me of like that dysfunctional relationship with that girl, just you never know what you're going to get and what you expect to get. You don't. It's just weird. Joe Dumars, legend, bad boy Piston, but sometimes the great players, as we've seen with Magic Johnson, it just doesn't always translate to being a great manager, great GM, and great, team builder and creator. The Pelicans are a dumpster fire, and draft night showed that. So that's actually going to be my pick.
No, it's a great pick. I mean, we don't know what the rebuild's looking like. They just got rid of McCollum. I know they've got Jordan Poole. So I think they're still the Pelicans are still there to compete, but are they contenders? I think they're far from it. No. Just saying that. So
now they don't have a first round pick. So I love Derek.
At the very least, we'll see some entertainment with Poole and Zion. That'll be a fun little duo. It's a pool party. We'll see something like that. Zion, if he can,
Zion can get on the court.
Games. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If he can stay healthy, it's all about healthy. All right, sweet. So we've been in this podcast for 10 minutes now, and we still have not talked about the main guy, the main event, Cooper Flagg. Couple interesting statistics I'm looking at. The entire starting lineup was drafted for Duke this past within the first and second draft. And 4 Montverde players were picked in the first round where he went to high school. So that kind of just shows, I mean, obviously he's the guy. He's also playing against some great talent. And, for that Duke team to have their whole starting roster get drafted and, not come up short. I know they went to the Final Four, but come up short is pretty interesting because I think when it's said and done, we'll look back at that Duke team as being, one of the most talented we've seen. Let's talk about the guy, Cooper Flagg, though. He's the second youngest player drafted as the first overall after LeBron James, the GOAT. It kind of shows a lot. There's a lot of expectations around him. He's already played with Team USA while he was, before he was even at Duke, or I guess it was the summer before. But there's obviously a lot of expectations. Him going to the Mavs, first of all, got to be rigged, right? I mean, I can't believe he's on the Mavs. I just, I wish he was on a team that was not an op at the moment, is all I'll say. But it'll be interesting seeing him develop because he's kind of already on a team that's full of contenders and, they want to win now. You usually see, the number one overall pick go to a team that is kind of on the come up and needs a rebuild. So it'll be interesting to see, how quickly he can, just move his college basketball flow to the NBA. But I'm expecting a lot out of him. I'm expecting him to be, I'm not going to say an all-time great, and it was fun making that video like we did in the office, just seeing what the guys thought his outlook was. I think he definitely has the potential, though, to be right there with Wemby as like the new faces of the league, as guys that have come up from prospects these past couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, Dean, if you're not going to say it, I'll say it. Cooper Flagg's going to be an all-time great. I don't know about how many championships. I don't want to get into how many championships. I asked Mike Trudell to say that. He shot me down, so that's probably a good call not to get into the championships. But I think Cooper Flagg's going to be an all-time great. I think the Mavs may or may not be a top 5 team. We'll get into that right now. We'll get into that in a little bit. I think Cooper Flagg's going to really fit in well with Anthony Davis, and hopefully when Kyrie comes back healthy, I'm really excited to see him play, man. I mean, rookie of the year, that's my prediction, obviously. I don't really know what else. I mean, all-star game, yep. Playoffs, yep. That boy's coming. He's a new face of the league, hopefully in the next 5 or 6 years, but we need someone, man.
So Cooper Flagg, there's just so many interesting things about him going number 1. We talked about this a little bit in person in the office, but I'll say this to start. When was the last time we had a white American go number 1? When was the last time we had a white American potential face of the league? They comparing him to Larry because Larry was the last one. Luka is from Slovenia. Nikola is from out there. You feel me? Like, yeah, all of these, like we have New Hampshire, right? That's where he's from?
Yeah.
Yep. The main event. So this is great for marketing. This is great for America. And it's great for storylines because white man can jump, white man can ball. I love to see it. But also another thing I was kind of thinking about, right? Like, and I feel like you see this in football and soccer a lot. When like a great young player links up with an already established legend, Messi, Ronaldinho. You see these types of things happen, right? Cooper, this is beautiful. He's about to be playing with Klay Thompson, Hall of Famer, Kyrie Irving, Hall of Famer, Anthony Davis, Hall of Famer. He's playing with guys that have experience that will be able to help him. He's playing with 2 number 1 picks. You feel me? Like they're going to be able to pour into him. And it's not going to be his team for the first couple of years, but hopefully he'll be able to, have a starting role. And he'll definitely have a starting role. And he'll be a contributor on a team that, if healthy, could really make some noise in the West. So Cooper Flagg, this is great. He's not going to a bum team. He's going to a team that can really do something, and he'll grow and develop. And I think his trajectory is really great. And he's the main event.
And Jonathan, you're forgetting, I don't know about Hall of Fame coach, but Jason Kidd too, coaching him. Like, I mean, that's a great mentor either way. He's a smart guy, long time career. So yeah, I don't know. And I got a question. When do you guys think the last time, like the number 1 overall pick, especially a hyped up guy like Cooper Flagg, has been on like a contender team? Like, I literally don't remember the last time. I think I actually heard a stat. There's only 2 players to do it. I don't know the exact stat, but I mean, I don't think it's ever been in our lifetime where a number 1 overall pick is just sliding right into a top 5, in my opinion, in their respective conference contender. Yeah. That's pretty impressive. It's pretty cool to see. And Dean, I know the Mavs are some ops, but it's also cool to see like you're going to see Cooper Flagg on the main stage as he should be.
No, definitely. I think, kind of like I said, him already being on a contender might hurt his development. At the same time, it's like, in a way, it does take a lot of pressure off him. They are going to expect him to, put up 20 points a game pretty quickly, especially with Kyrie being out. But I think having a guy in the front court like Anthony Davis right next to him, like who's expected to, when healthy, could be an MVP talent. We can talk about that later. But I think that could take a little expectations away from him. And as we're on that same note, I'm looking at that graphic of just the last 15 first overall picks going back to 2011 with Kyrie, just, so because we're going to do that little draft. But I don't see anyone that was on a contending team right off the bat. So this is going to be a big deal. Just talk about how crazy the Maverick situation was, and like probably like the quickest rebuild there's ever been after getting rid of Luka. I think Mavs fans are just happy the situation they're in right now, and probably aren't as pissed as they were when the trade happened.
They're still chanting fire Nico, so I don't know.
But. Guys, we got to realize, one, Nico really didn't have the say in all that. You know that, right?
He got lucky. He got saved.
But like even going back to the Luka trade, Nico is just the fall guy. He's just the guy who's taking the blame.
I kind of agree.
Yeah, no, this is an upper management.
But he has the final say, though. So it's like, who else are you going to put it on?
I'm telling you, he doesn't have the. That's what I'm telling you. He doesn't have the final say. He's just the front man. You feel me? But with that said, it looks bad when he does something like the trade, but they're looking good right now. If you're a Mavs fan, you shouldn't really be complaining right now. You have the number one pick. I heard some murmurings of potentially trying to get D'Angelo Russell. You get D'Angelo Russell over there while Kyrie is, rehabbing his injury. You have scoring. You have a guy who can get a bucket in D'Lo, and then when Kyrie comes back, D'Lo's coming off the bench. So you have 8 guys on the Mavs. You have Klay Thompson, Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford, Max Christie. Like, this is the Mavericks can be stinky. They can be stinky if they do it right and people get healthy. So I'm looking forward to it.
I got a question for you guys, and it might – I don't want to I don't know. I don't want to trigger any Lakers fans, but right now, whose team is better right now? Lakers or Mavs?
Situation. I mean, are we talking healthy Mavs with Kyrie or without him?
Let's say, I guess we'll say right now, but then let's say the playoff. I mean, we'll say with Kyrie. With Kyrie.
Yeah. Because, I mean, obviously, with health is a whole different conversation. Like, as we were going to do a little rankings, like a little quick power rankings for next year early, but it's like there's a lot of players that are injured right now, which obviously sucks, but that switches it up and it makes the whole rest of the league pretty open. I'm hoping that the Lakers are still going to shake up the market with getting a big man. So it's tough to say there, but I'd be lying if I said the Mavs didn't have a better starting lineup. And that's me taking all my biases aside. I love that Luka's gotten more slim, and I think people are already underestimating like how good Luka is just because, all this like crazy talk and rumors in the background. But a healthy Luka is a top 3 player in the league.
For sure.
But it's just Luka and LeBron and Austin Reeves when he has a good night. So until I see Pelinka cook up, I mean, we'll talk about the Lakers too, what they did in the draft. I was very pleasantly surprised what they were able to do, just having 155th overall pick and make it into something. But the Mavs have a contending starting lineup that when they're totally healthy, it might be the best starting roster in the league.
Wow. All right. I agree.
It hurts to
Dean
say.
Frank, heard it here. Dean Frank Sports dropping a bomb on the pod.
Wow.
Just plug that graphic of the quote. And
I gotta say, Dallas has they just have the size. We don't have the size. You know what I mean? We don't have the size that can contend with those guys.
And I'm not saying I agree. And I'm not saying they wouldn't. I think LeBron would probably win in a 7-game series. I mean, like with
Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5. All right, we'll move on to that because I guess we're getting a little too hypothetical there. Jonathan, I see your face. I know I don't want to get too hypothetical because it's like Dean said, like the team isn't shaken up yet. It's probably going to be we heard some things in the office that it may or may not be a whole new roster. So I don't know. We'll see about that. I really want Lakers to make a move. Just living in LA, being a Cavs fan. Shout out Cleveland. Cleveland, we killed the draft last night. Tyrese Proctor, Duke guard, but
good little pickup.
Yeah. But it'd be great to see the Lakers, grab another star. I really agree with what Dean said, last episode. I think Austin Reeves just like I actually disagree with what you said, Dean. I think Austin Reeves needs to go. I think the West is getting a little too tight. I think the Mavericks, they like you said, they have a better core than the Lakers right now. They gotta move. They gotta go with LeBron.
Yes.
No, most definitely. Okay, sweet. Let's do this real quick. I'm not sure if you guys are looking at the graphic.
Yeah, I've
It's
got it.
on the doc. Okay, sweet. So I think we should do a little draft of the last 15 first overall picks. And I think we should do it as kind of like, we obviously know like AD, how he is in the league now, but I think it should be like their draft hype at that time, if that makes sense. So, like kind of what we know about Cooper Flagg, if you can kind of plug yourself into as a GM, like at the time, like who are you taking? And we'll do a little snake draft. We'll each take 3 players. And I think we'll have Jonathan start, then we'll go Jonathan, Zalen, then me, and then we'll wrap that around.
Okay, with
All right,
this
Jonathan.
lineup, who do I take first?
Tougher than you think.
Honestly, I think I'm gonna go with Ant.
All right, I like
I
that
think I'm
pick.
gonna go with Ant. Yeah,
That was my second
taking
pick.
Ant.
That was going to be the guy I picked if this guy didn't go. Cavalier legend Kyrie Irving. Give me Kyrie.
Kyrie.
Yeah.
And not to mention, Kyrie played like 10 games at Duke.
Literally.
So like the hype is a little weird, but I mean, I think he still had a lot of hype. And if we're doing 3-on-3, Kyrie's cooking everyone on this list. So
Yeah, that's true. But Ant, he's got that
look,
feel.
yeah.
You can't go wrong picking anyone on this list.
Yeah.
But for Victor Wembanyama to fall for me with the 3rd overall pick, I mean, this guy is an actual alien, 7'6", can shoot the ball, can ball handle. Like, for him to go number 3, I feel like that's kind of disrespect. I'm taking Wembanyama first. And who am I matching him with? I think I'm just going to stay big, and I'm going to take AD. I think AD coming out of Connecticut, I know we were a little younger back then, but I know the hype, and we obviously have seen kind of what he was able to build into. I'm taking Victor and AD in my backcourt. Zalen,
That's insane.
I like that. All right. I want to take someone, but I got to be smart here. I got to take some size. Let's go Big Purr. Give me Cat.
Oh, wow.
Mr. Zesty.
You taking Cat? Is it my turn now?
Yes, sir.
I was hoping that this guy would slip through the cracks. Give me Paolo Banchero. Give me Paolo. That boy is
he's tough.
No, he's very tough. Do I get the next pick as well?
Yes, sir.
Your last pick.
Okay, let me see. Got Ant, Paolo.
Kind of
I
need
think
it.
I'll take Cooper Flagg.
Yeah.
I'll take Cooper Flagg. I like that little 3. That's a good little 3 right there.
Tough
Got
3.
some size, some shooting, some athleticism. We got it all right there.
I was tempted to do it, man, but I didn't want to, But all right, I had to get some size. I'll go with Caden then. Give me another score.
Okay.
I was gonna take Cade. Okay. Well, since we're just doing hypotheticals here, it's not like an actual like 3v3 lineup type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna go another big man, and I'm taking Zion. I think the hype Zion coming out of Duke is unmatchable. I know he's gotten injured, and not staying healthy in the league is kind of like limited his value, I guess. But at the time, like seeing that high school mixtape, seeing those slam dunks was like nothing else. So rounding off, I got AD, Wembanyama, and Zion.
Okay.
Zalen, who you got?
I have Kyrie, Cade, and Cat.
And I have Ant Edwards, Paolo Banchero, and Cooper Flagg.
Okay.
Dang,
Interesting.
I don't know.
If y'all are still watching in the comments, we appreciate you, but let us know who just won this draft because I think it could go any way. Obviously, like a 3v3 matchup is completely different, but with just those names being there, I mean, you can't go wrong. You really can't go wrong.
Yep,
I agree. You
can't. Besides Anthony Bennett,
and the last pick,
Richey,
2024. Yeah, I don't even know how to say his name.
Zachary Richey. I think.
Yeah, Zachary Richey.
Yeah, no, I was literally looking at the list, and I think probably the top 5 guys that got drafted this year could have went first overall last year, and that's not even like I'm not even just saying that. Like a guy like even someone like Edgecombe definitely like Harper. I think Harper and Ace Bailey on their own definitely could have, and then you could add Edgecombe. I think you could even add Trey Johnson there as well as guys that could have gone first last year.
Yeah, I think so too. Honestly, this draft, we'll always remember this as the Flagg draft, and I mean it was a Cooper Flagg draft. I think you mentioned Johnson. I think he's the best shooter in the draft. I think Con Knipple is the best, catch and shoot, but I think Trey Johnson from Texas, best shooter in the draft. That was a great pick. And just to mention, you mentioned Zion. I think Cooper Flagg, would you guys say, or would you go farther than this, is probably the most hyped up prospect since Zion? Or is it more than that? Because Zion had a lot of hype. I don't know if he had this much hype.
He had a lot of hype. Wait, are you forgetting about Wemby, bro?
Oh, yeah. Well,
you forgot about Wemby?
Duke star, you're saying?
Oh, like American grown
yeah,
star?
yeah. Just like,
yeah.
I don't know. You're right. I mean, the Wemby was the biggest storyline and biggest lock, but I think Cooper Flagg is just like, I don't know.
It does feel like it. It feels like the expectations are there. But I think since we've seen players in the past exactly like a Zion who had just as high expectations, are saying like, the next LeBron, like stuff like that. It's like you can't just say that about anyone anymore. You really can't. Who knows if he's been staying healthy? But I feel like Cooper Flagg has like been that guy and steadily has like increased. Like I've known of him since, even before Victor. Like I knew he was going to be like the next guy.
That's true.
I'm hoping for a lot, and it would be cool to see him, be the new face of the league. As we we're kind of saying, there are so many new faces of the league. We kind of stamped it last podcast that Shea like has to be that guy now. I mean, being the face of the league, you have to win it all. You have to be the MVP. So it can't be Ant, it can't be Luka yet. Like it takes time for these guys to.
I don't know. I don't know about that. The face of the league.
I don't know if it has to be all of them.
I don't know.
I don't know if it has to be all of them. I just think you definitely got to be one of those things, right?
Sure. No, yeah. There's no debate in that. Okay, sweet. Well, we're at the 30-minute mark. I think if we want to wrap it up, we totally could, and kind of have another show, maybe being like more free agent off season once that whole thing's over, because I know that's totally just a never-ending situation until it's actually over. I think very quickly we should talk about what the Lakers did this draft. Very quickly. But so going into it, Lakers had a 55th second-round pick. That's actually exactly where Bronny was taken last year. So the talent that you could take at number 55 overall. Obviously, the biggest point of this offseason has been to get a big man. So that's kind of what I thought we were targeting. And what I mentioned a little earlier, like two of the centers were taken right before us with Cockburner and Broom. So what we did, getting Adu Thiero at 36. So we traded up first to 45, and then we traded once again for cash, I believe, with the Bulls to get Adu. This guy, like, I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna pretend like I'm a Super Bowl knower. Like, I had to look into him a little bit after he was drafted, but he looks like an OG Anunoby on steroids, low key. Like as an athlete, he was like maybe the second best athlete / dunker in the draft, other than Edgecombe. A guy that he can't shoot too well, but it looks like he's just an athlete. Like he's 6'8", super physical. I think he's the perfect type of wing player that could build into someone bigger. Like I feel like you can learn to shoot better, and you can like work on your percentages more like once you get in the league, but you can't learn like physical build and strength and all stuff like that. Becoming an athlete. I think it'll be super fun, nonetheless, to see him in summer league. Hopefully, get a poster. Also, off the bat, we were playing against the Mavericks in the first game of summer league to open it up. So
Bronny versus Flagg.
Dude, the league knows exactly what they're doing there. But
Bronny plays in the summer league. Bronny better play.
He better play.
Yeah. And then other than that, we got Dixon and RJ Davis as two-way contract players we picked up. Both older guys. I know Dixon was like the best, had the most scoring points last year. And RJ Davis, I mean, we've kind of just known his name being at North Carolina.
Like Caleb Love. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's talented. He's kind of like a Gabe Vincent. I mean, he's like a younger Gabe Vincent. Vincent is the best way to put it. Yeah. All right. Is Rob Pelinka cooking? Are we cooking, or what did you guys think based off this draft?
Jonathan, I'll let you go first because I didn't tap right too much into the Lakers draft.
Well, I'll say this: Adu Thiero played in Kentucky and was supposed to. I'm pretty sure he declared for the draft last year, 2024, but there was some talking, some murmuring, some rumblings through the grapevine that he wasn't going to go too high. So he opted to go back to college, and he followed Calipari to Arkansas, and he became a Razorback. And I think that when a young man, is met with that type of, the trial of, oh, like I could go to the draft and maybe not even get picked, like go undrafted and not get picked up. He decides to go back to work because that's what it is, right? Mm-hmm. When doubt sets in, when doubt comes, you got to go back to the basics and go to work. He goes to Arkansas, has a great season. Arkansas wins a bunch of games. And yeah, he can't really shoot that well, but that's okay because he's going to be around great shooters and he's going to be around great wings. He can learn from DFS. He can learn from Rui Hachimura. Did you guys see that video of him recently? He was like he did like a little TikTok. He was like,
I was saving that.
Yeah, he was. Oh, I'm sorry, but
no.
He was like,
we lost you.
Shoot, no, he can't. Uh-oh.
No. Don't worry.
Well, he's moist enough. I think we know that you were talking about, it's like if you can't get a girl, kiss the rim or something, and then like it's nothing, bro, just hops up and kisses the rim. So he's an athlete. I mean, it's pretty obvious there. I guess it just depends on, are we like, I don't know. We got to be cooking something bigger this offseason. So I'm kind of waiting for that before we get into like a Lakers full season preview,
I think I got into it with my buddy Charlie actually in my group chat last night about the Cavs pick. He was saying we need a forward. We have too many guards. And I think we got to remember, like, obviously I was hyped up about my second round pick. You guys are hyped up about the second round pick. But these second round pick guys, I mean, as much as we want them to make a difference, they're not going to slide right in like a Cooper Flagg, like a Dylan Harper. So we got to slow down, but like fans just got to slow down a little bit when they want team needs in the second round, because usually in the second round, obviously Kalkbrenner would have been awesome on the Lakers, same with Braun, but I just think like it's most of the time best player available in the second round. And I really think that's where you find your gems, but it's the best player available. It's not the, my backup center, my maybe backup point guard, but maybe backup centers, but it's mostly best player available. And yeah, and like you said, you can teach them shooting. You can't teach bunnies, and that boy's got some. So.
Yeah. It does say something though, like having that 55th overall pick and wanting to get a 36 overall pick. So
for sure.
I'm hoping we cooked up something there, and I think our scouting department definitely knows what they're doing.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree.
I think we can hear you, Jonathan. But
can you guys hear me? Can you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I was like, my mic was cutting out for some. I got a call. My apologies. But yeah, I mean, like I'm saying, he seems like a good, nurtured kid, and like you guys said, athleticism is something it's God given. You can't teach someone to have a 40-inch vertical and dunk on people. So yeah, I think that'd be a good pickup, good wing.
For sure.
Sweet. Well, this was super fun, y'all. I mean, we can talk ball all day. That's kind of like the fun part about it. But me and Jonathan got to go hit the NHL draft, which I'm super excited for.
That's right.
Let's go. So, appreciate y'all listening. Give us a comment, maybe if you thought, who won the draft, what you thought about the Lakers pick, what you think Cooper Flagg's outlook is,
who won the draft? Who won our draft?
Who won our draft? Yeah. I'll cook up a little clip and maybe I'll make like a graphic of the different picks, and we'll see what people think. But appreciate y'all hopping on. Super fun. Yeah. Assuming we could do this again in the future, and appreciate y'all for listening.
Have fun tonight, guys.
Yo.